What's up, everybody? This is Jeremy Ritz, Courage Pays Better Than Fear Trading, back here with all of you with another Courage Pays Better Than Fear mini, where I'm going to talk to you about one of the most important concepts in trading, day trading, swing trading, and really even active investing, and that is support and resistance. And it's very simple. These are just areas we need to be aware of where stocks will typically bounce and move higher, or where stocks will typically get rejected and come lower. And so by knowing particular areas on the charts where these rejection points are and where these bouncing points are, we can use them to our advantage in our trading so that we can be profitable. We can also use them in terms of our active investments so that we can grow our wealth over time. So we're going to talk about all of that and more in today's Courage Pays Better Than Fear mini. Check it out. You know, I'll often get questions from traders who are just starting out on this journey. Jeremy, what is the most important concept that I need to know as a trader, investor? And really, it's quite simple. It's support and resistance. By knowing support and resistance and how to identify it on a chart, you can use it to your advantage in your trading and in your investing. And so without any further hesitation, let's jump over to the charts and take a look at this concept. All right, I want to start out by giving you a definition of resistance. We're going to start with resistance. Let me make the font a little bit bigger here. And we're going to put the definition up here first, and I'm going to show you on the chart here. But when we talk about resistance, this is just where a stock stops moving upwards. Okay. So think of it as a barrier where when you come into the barrier, bang, you can't go any further. You can't push through it. Right. And in the case of stocks, when you do push through a resistance, that's a sign of strength that this thing is going to move higher. But when we're talking about it in general, what we mean here, it's where a stock stops moving to the upside. Okay. So here we are looking at Apple, and we could see when we're looking at this chart very clearly, right here in this area, we get rejected and we come back down. If we look just a little bit over to the right, we see we have this area right here where we get rejected and we come back down. And we could see that it drops, kind of moves sideways, and we come back up into that area and we get dropped back down. And then it drops, it finds a bottom, it pushes back up higher, we get back up into that range, but what happens? It gets rejected and it drops back down. So what we can see is very clearly that a resistance has been established. And I want you to think of resistance in terms of a range. It's not going to be at an exact price to the penny, because we could see here that this gets rejected at around 180, 190. Here it's 183.06. Here it's 179.57. Here it's 176.08. But what we are getting is just a general range. If we would draw a box here that came across from that high down to the lowest resistance point, we have a range that exists. And within this range, we have a resistance where anytime Apple would get into this price area from, when was this? When did this start? December 13th, 2021, up until August 18th, 2022. Anytime that it got into this range, it got rejected and it headed lower. And so this is a really nice example of resistance. And we need to pay attention to these things as traders and investors. You know, for instance, as a trader, when we're looking at this on a daily chart, let's say that we had this price area here where it kept getting rejected. Well, even if we didn't know what was going to happen over here, when we saw the price push back up into this range, into this box, our thought wouldn't be, hey, we're going to take this long, we're going to try to go higher here. Our probabilities say that there is a good chance that Apple is going to fall. And so we could look for a short opportunity, okay? The same thing would occur over here in August of 2022 when we saw it push back up into that price area. We could say, hey, what has happened the last few times that the price has got into this area? It's fallen. So we know this is a resistance, so we could have looked short. And so by just doing studying your charts, by knowing where these resistance areas are, you can use them to your advantage for shorts And also to tell you, if you're an active investor, that, hey, this is not a good area to purchase the stock. This is not a good area to purchase Apple. We would want to wait for it to come lower. Okay. So that is resistance. That's where stocks hit a price area, get rejected, and it drops. Okay. The bears are hanging out up there. They're waiting for investors, traders to take profits. When they do, they're jumping in, they're pressing the price down, and then you get price corrections. Okay. So that is resistance. Now, support is just going to be the opposite. So let me type here on the screen a definition for you for support. Let's change the color this time. Let's go with a brighter green. And support, let me get this off here. Support, this is where a stock stops moving downwards. Okay, so it's just the opposite of resistance. It's where a stock stops moving downwards. Okay, so we have our resistance area up here that we talked about. And now we just want to see, all right, well, where does it bounce? And we could see clearly from where this resistance area was created that there was a support area that came into play here. Because if we take a look at this chart, we can see that, oh, we got a nice bounce here where it pushed higher, and then it came back down, and then we got another bounce right around that same area where it pushed higher back up into that resistance. Okay. And then we see it drop back down. It finds a nice bounce here, right? We have a little bit more support, pushes higher, it comes back down. We find a little bit more support, pushes up, and it comes back down, and it comes a little bit lower than where this previous support was, but it still is support. So what ends up being established here is a range of price points. And I'm going to put a box on here like I did for resistance. We're going to draw this out so we could see that, all right, here is a support range that we know that if Apple comes down into this area, we want to pay attention to it as a potential buy spot. Okay. And so when we combine this support with the resistance information that we have, and let's say that we see, let's just go back to where this resistance is established, right? And we saw it come back up into this resistance area. Let's say we were going short. Well, we could set profit targets based on where the support is. So what I mean by profit targets, well, if we're shorting up here, we're entering up here. If we know that we typically get a bounce down in this box, we could be conservative and take our profits before it gets down into this area, before a bounce comes into play. Okay. Or you could do this. If we know that this is a support area where you typically get a bounce, and let's say that we're going long, meaning we're doing a bullish trade, and we could enter right above that support. And then before it gets into that resistance area, we can take a profit. So just by knowing the simple basic concepts of support and resistance, we can trade just using that information. Okay. And when we start adding things in here like double tops, which I do have videos on the channel that you could check out, or double bottoms, you could really start stacking these indicators on top of each other to really make some tremendous gains in your trading. And so the most important concept in trading, support and resistance, you got to deep dive into that here today. And I hope that you found value in this little lesson here on Courage Pays Better Than Fear Trading. All right. So let me know your thoughts, any questions that you have here about support and resistance, put those in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Share this video with your family and friends, anybody out there who's learning how to trade and invest. And if you want to learn more about the markets, if you are interested in coaching and learning how to trade to make this part of your everyday life, remember, you don't have to quit your job like I did to benefit from the markets, but hit me up at couragepaysbetter@gmail.com. Let's talk. Let me help you with the markets, and be on the lookout for more Courage Pays Better Than Fear trading minis. A lot more information, trading education coming your way. And I hope you have a phenomenal day. Take care, everyone.